MCU Thor has always been star level and has star level, multi galaxy level, and universe level feats in his movies. This video provides on screen and scientific proof, along with debunks of his alleged anti feats. The feats. His first star level feat is in Thor 1, breaking the Rainbow Bridge after 10 Mjolnir strikes, and tanking the energy explosion upon breaking the bridge, while it had opened the Bifrost wormhole, which simultaneously was destroying the planet Jotunheim in another galaxy, while also quickly sucking in dozens of stars that each were light years away in Asgard's galaxy, and on Earth, causing a physical storm with an aurora in a third galaxy. An aurora is caused by changes in the activity of the sun, including by solar flares. The 9 realms are each in separate galaxies, as shown in Thor 2. And the white dots moving in these scenes are clearly meant to be stars. These scenes are of the black of outer space with white dots everywhere, some of which are moving. It would be headcanon to assume these moving white dots are anything except stars. In fact, the naysayers have never even suggested what these moving white dots would be if they were not stars. A book is also shown on screen in Thor 1 stating that the creation of Mjolnir caused the core of a star to explode, meaning to go supernova, and nearly take Earth with it. By the way, Thor's hammer strike also casually shook the planet Jotunheim, which is at least as large as Earth based on the size of its canyons. In Thor 2, he overcomes the pull of a black hole grenade to save Loki, then overcomes the full force of the Reality Stone as it is in the process of destroying the universe within 1 more minute and taking a point-blank Reality Stone blast to the face as Thor uses Mjolnir plus Eric Selvig's gravimetric spike to stop Malekith. When the Reality Stone energy entered Asgard during the peak of the convergence, at least 9 stars were moving out of sync with the rest of space. Malekith used the convergence to further empower his Reality Stone attack. So Thor pushed through multi-solar power just to get to Malekith. There are at least 100 billion galaxies in the universe, and Malekith had 8 minutes to send enough Reality Stone energy out to destroy the universe. Astrophysicists Jane Foster and Eric Selvig state the time limit, which matches the screen time of the movie. That means 1 second of Malekith's output was equivalent to over 200 million galaxies. This is the minimum amount of energy Thor overcame to stop Malekith. In Thor 3, he tanks much faster than light Bifrost shards hitting his body while fighting Hela inside the wormhole, while Hela choked him with her hand a minute after Hela casually one-hand crushed Mjolnir. Mjolnir, which tanked those previous multi-star level and multi-galaxy level feats. Then Thor gets hurled much faster than light past millions of stars in seconds, effectively enduring 2 infinite mass punches. First, when exiting the Bifrost to travel across deep space, and then when slowing down while exiting the wormhole onto Sakaar.
Thor travels at speed past millions of stars and planets. Thor travels at speed past millions of stars and planets.
Due to that She-Hulk scene where Hulk tosses a boulder so fast it explodes, this proves that MCU physics factor in the damaging effects of gravitational force and speed on thrown objects. So in Thor 3, Thor endures more energy than mathematically exists in the known universe on his exposed face and arms without any type of force field that a spaceship might have, or Captain Marvel has shown, or Thanos has used with the Space Stone. And the MCU has repeatedly shown that anti gravity and force field technology exists. Howard Stark created a gravitic reversion car. Ultron lifted Sokovia with anti gravs. Rocket made gravity altering boots. The High Evolutionary literally controlled gravity. The Kree Dark Aster spaceship and the Orgoscope had invisible force fields that only activated when hit by energy attacks, and the Guardians Benatar spaceship that can travel faster than light also had force fields. Thor had none of this on his bare face and arms as he got hurled across the universe. Thor later uses his lightning to stun Hela and take her out of the fight for 2 minutes, then again uses his lightning to knock out Hela while one-shotting Break the Rainbow Bridge, which previously took 10 hammer strikes to break. Both of those feats are multi-galactic by scaling off damage to Hela. In Infinity War, Thor survives getting beat up by Thanos, having the Power Stone pressed to his skull, and a Power Stone explosion that destroyed a spaceship which had already tanked going through a collapsing neutron star inside a wormhole. Then, a very weakened Thor goes on to supply the kinetic energy to move the rings that in turn restart the neutron star Nidavellir, and then take the full force of the star to forge Stormbreaker. We can take Eitri at his word because the movie shows that the movement of the rings can continually empower the star. That's the entire point of Thor moving the rings. So when Eitri says full force of a star, he is referring to the specific part of the energy beam that hits Thor. Then a revitalized Thor hurls Stormbreaker through the full Infinity Gauntlet energy beam to impale a focused Thanos. There was no reason for Thanos to use all of the Infinity Stones against a single opponent whose people Thanos had already slaughtered, as this opponent was attacking Thanos to stop Thanos, who himself was seconds away from achieving his lifelong goal, unless Thanos was going all out by using the stone's full power against Thor. Thor overcame at least a universe level attack. In fact, each Infinity Stone is universe level, as shown by the Time Stone trapping multiversal Dormammu, who consumes universes, and the Reality Stone being able to release enough energy to turn the entire universe into dark matter. Thanos, with all 6 stones, had more than enough energy to hit Thor with a universe level attack. In Thor 4, he defeats Zeus, the leader of the most powerful gods in the universe, who also commands the respect of 2 celestials, after Zeus vaporizes Thor's armor. that had previously withstood the feats already explained in this video. Thor also empowers Jane Foster and they defeat Gore, who had previously moved hundreds of stars in the Shadow Realm to create shadows and monsters, then resisted the black hole level pull of the Bifrost to wrestle Stormbreaker away from Thor. And yes, Gore did move all of those stars so he could constantly have the shadows needed to produce his monsters and tendrils. The stars change speed and direction in relation to Gore's movements. And the Disney Plus audio commentary for the movie says Gore took the entire Shadow Realm to the center of the universe to reach eternity.
In the Shadow Realm, the silhouetted forms of the children can be seen against the bright glow of the sun, as giant boulders float together to form pillars. With Stormbreaker slung across his back, Gore stands at the front of the children and watches as chunks of the moon form the cracked stone floor of a structure around them.
The very previous scene is Thor and Valkyrie discussing directions to eternity, which would be unnecessary if eternity was already where Thor had just been fighting. So Gore did in fact move the Shadow Realm, including its celestial bodies, to the center of the universe. Then Thor exits the universe, stands on equal footing with, and beholds eternity, the cosmic god embodying the entire universe in its complete true form. To save eternity's life and the universe itself. Eternity has a body that resembles a man, complete with head, face, arms, legs, fingers, toes, and clothes. Thor states, if he seeks the altar of eternity, that means he could wipe us out at once. An altar is for worshiping a deity. Besides, the entire point of going to this seated cosmic man is to make a wish that eternity will grant, killing all the gods, which requires this seated man to comprehend the wish. There is no way that Gore does not view eternity as a god. This is why the universe was at risk. Korg said, her sacrifice saved the universe, meaning Jane, and Thor empowered Jane, who otherwise was a cancer-stricken human woman with no combat ability. So all her feats are Thor's. The proof. The Bifrost is a wormhole, also known as an Einstein-Rosen interstellar transport system, as stated by MCU astrophysicists Eric Selvig and Jane Foster in both Thor 1 and Thor 4. Reputable, real-world sources estimate creating a wormhole require massive amounts of star power. The NASA Harvard University Chandra X-ray Observatory says, a wormhole is a hypothetical type of tunnel consisting of two entrance holes that resemble black holes. It has been estimated that to create a wormhole with a diameter 1/1,000,000th the size of a proton, wormhole engineers would need negative energy equivalent in magnitude to the energy generated by 10 billion suns in 1 year. As for how powerful real-world black holes can be, NASA says stars orbit a massive black hole at the center of our Milky Way galaxy, and that black holes can be as big as 6 billion times as massive as Earth's sun. Jane's board, shown in Thor 4, shows the real-world Schwarzschild radius formula that defines the required size, mass, and gravitational field of a black hole. Based on this formula, the black hole grenade that Thor saved Loki from had the mass of over 300 Earths. Regarding the power of neutron stars, NASA says neutron stars max out at 2.5 solar masses. Their cores are between 1/2 billion to just under a billion degrees Celsius, and that stars which are 8 times or more massive than our sun end their lives in a most spectacular way. They go supernova. A supernova explosion will occur when the core temperature rises to over 100 billion degrees as the iron atoms are crushed together. All that remains of the original star is a small, superdense core composed almost entirely of neutrons, a neutron star. Debunking anti-feats. MCU Thor's supposed anti-feats include allegations that he was hurt by Loki's knives, by Iron Man, by a boulder on the Dark World, by falling rocks as Sokovia rose up, by Ultron smashing a stone pillar into his face, by Thor's own busting the city of Sokovia, by the Sakaar obedience discs, and by time-traveling Thanos without the gauntlet. Is MCU Thor inconsistent with his power levels? Every comic-based character is inconsistent with their power levels, both in the comics and in the movies. Supposed anti-feats do not invalidate the same character's actual feats. Christopher Reeve Superman got knocked out by a city bus and fingernails. He also pushed the moon. Nobody doubts that Reeve Supes is at least moon level just because he got knocked out by a city bus and by fingernails. The Doctor from Doctor Who has been imprisoned by regular human beings with no advanced technology on multiple occasions. The Doctor from Doctor Who also has saved the multiverse on multiple occasions. Power levels exist with inconsistencies because these characters do not really exist. This is fiction. It is not real. So the most logical approach is to accept that when a character repeatedly performs feats at a certain high level, that the character can in fact accomplish those feats. The worst possible approach is to deny that those feats even occurred because you either did not notice them or because they conflict with your fixation on a character's supposed anti-feats. Conclusion. The MCU does not display feats through natural objects that have immediately obvious calculations, like the size of the Earth or the weight of the moon. The MCU prioritizes storytelling and character development, but the MCU does still provide insanely powerful feats which require viewers to conduct extensive research on the science and math involved. This is easy to overlook, and Thor fighting alongside street-level Avengers like Black Widow and Hawkeye does make it easy to believe Thor is somewhat within their range of abilities. Of course, that is done to make the movies more relatable and better cinematic experiences. The average movie watcher, meaning non-comic book fans, cannot suspend disbelief long when a character who is more powerful than galaxies fights along someone who is weaker than a bullet. The bottom line is that once the science and math are reviewed, it becomes evident that the MCU has consistently given Thor star level, multi-galaxy level, and a universe level feats.